We've got here with us Osayande Omokaro, who is a representative of the Nigerian NGO Environmental Right Action, an NGO which is committed to the protection of the environment in the oil rich region of the Niger Delta. And tomorrow, Mr. Omokaro will attend the assembly of the stakeholders of the Italian energy group Eni in Rome. Mr. Omokaro, what's the point you're going to make tomorrow at the assembly?
Let me just make a clarification. Eni is known as Ajib in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So usually when you are talking about Eni, and we normally add that Ajib, because in Nigeria most of the people know Eni as Ajib.
Yeah.
Now Ajib has been operating in Nigeria since 1962. And the company has a lot of oil wells, flow stations in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria. And it operates a joint venture agreement with the Nigerian government, which is represented by the National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC. Now, since 1962, that Eni has been operating in the Niger Delta, there has been a lot of complaints from the communities. These communities are known as host communities because they are the ones that host the oil facilities of Eni. And they normally suffer the effect of environmental degradation, such as gas flaring, oil spills, which pollute their river, which destroys their farmland, and devastate their sources of livelihood, like fishing, and render many of them and put them into poverty. In some cases, there are disagreements between the oil companies and the communities, and this normally leads to human rights violations. But now, as NGOs, we are into the communities doing research, trying to expose some of these issues to the international community so that they can intervene. For example, we know Italy, where Eni comes from, is a member of the European Union. And the European Union has a lot of high standards for its companies. And the European Union would not be happy if a company from the EU is engaged in human rights violations in Africa or in any developing country. The EU would not be happy if one of its companies promoting poverty and environmental degradation in a developing country. So this is why we as NGO, we do research to expose some of these shortcomings of these multinational companies with the hope that the companies will correct themselves and begin to operate according to internationally accepted standard and respect the laws of the countries where they operate. Now, there are cases of oil spills and gas flaring that we have been investigating. As a matter of fact, my colleague, who is in charge of our legal department, has investigated some oil spills in Rivers State of Nigeria. And they are thinking of the possibility of asking the local people who suffered the effects by way of loss of farmland, loss of fishing equipment, loss of farm crops to the oil spill emanating from Ajib facility. Our officer is planning to work with the local people and see the possibility of suing Ajib in Italy here. Because if you sue them in Nigeria, probably they feel they may not get, some justice, and the process may take too long. So an officer from my organization is working on that. Why recently I did a research on the gas gathering project that Ajib is doing in Delta State. Because we have been complaining about the gas flaring going on in Delta State from Ajib facility. And you know very well that gas flaring contributes to global warming and climate change. And we are seeing a situation where the company is deciding to go into gathering of gas that the company used to flare and convert it into power generation. And so the company has built some gas plants, some gas gathering equipment so that they can stop gas flaring and start using this gas to produce electricity. We did some research into their activities, and the research findings, if you don't mind, we can also present it to you and tell you what we found out.
We were told that Agip has won a contract or is going to build a new plant north of Port Harcourt as part of a so-called gas revolution put forward by President Goodluck Jonathan, who is a politician from the Niger Delta. Do you think that such violations and shortcomings you mentioned are going to take place also in the future, or you've got hopes that something may change with the election of a president coming from the Niger Delta?
We hope that in the next 4 years we might see certain fundamental changes, because the president is from the region and the people, his own people, who are Niger Delta people, are looking up to him to cause some changes. Now, you mentioned the gas revolution. A memorandum of understanding was signed last March, just last month, for a consortium of companies, including Eni, to build, about 10 billion worth of gas gathering plants, so that they can use the gas that is currently being flared to generate power, to power industries, and just generate employment. The memorandum of understanding has been signed and work is going on. All we need to do is to give them a chance, give them some time and see how that project is going to move on. Then we can begin to point out whether there's shortcomings or not, because the memorandum of understanding was just signed last month. Now, having said that, I'd like to say that the problems of the Niger Delta has been on ground for decades. The developmental challenges that we are facing in the Niger Delta have been there for decades, even since the colonial era. Nigeria got independence in 1960. But if you look into the history books, you will discover that the Niger Delta has been a marginalized region since the colonial era, as far back as 1920s. The Niger Delta people have been complaining of marginalization and underdevelopment. And so the problems of development in the Niger Delta has been built up for many years. It did not start yesterday. So this government has a challenge to change that situation. And of course, like I said, they have institutions like the Niger Delta Development Commission. They have the Ministry of the Niger Delta. These are institutions that have been set up specially to solve the problems of the Niger Delta. And they receive budgets from the government every year to deal with issues like health, education, roads, schools, water. And we are assessing their performance, and we will continue to assess their performance. But the issue is that the problem of the Niger Delta has been built up for many years, and you cannot solve the problem overnight. But the point is that these institutions are on ground, and the government are using them to try to solve the problem. And so we as NGO will continue to monitor their activities and continue to report to our international partners the success or failures that they are recording.